Good evening, bipeds. Hi, I'm Stephen Sashen, co-founder and chief barefoot officer here at Xero Shoes. You can find us at xeroshoes.com, xeroshoes.eu, xeroshoes.co.uk, and this is our monthly Ask Me Anything that I do on the third Tuesday, whatever Tuesday of the month this is. I didn't do one last month because my wife, who is our co-founder and interim CEO, was heading to Prague for meeting with our Prague office, xeroshoes.eu. I was heading to Dublin to meet with our lead programmer, someone I've worked with for 12 years. We never met personally. And so, the European time zone thing, well, if I had done this call at that time, it would have been 2 in the morning. So anyway, here we are now. If you don't know how this Ask Me Anything works, it's simple. You can ask me anything about barefoot running, barefoot shoes, what the difference is between barefoot and minimal, how you make the transition to barefoot or minimal. Is it really about shoes or is it really about, natural movement? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. It's about the latter. Or, what I'm making for dinner, whatever you want to ask, I'm here for you. Quick announcements. If you don't know how this works, if you have any questions or comments, type them in wherever it seems obvious to type them in. I see them over there on my screen, and then I will reply and respond to them. If you have any questions having to do with an order or kind of almost anything, you can also just email our customer happiness team. They are at support@xeroshoes.com. And if you have any suggestions or feedback, go to xeroshoes.com/feedback and leave those comments and suggestions there. Whatever advice you have, ideas you have for products, things you want product-wise, or whatever you can think of. So that's the gist of it. Now, if you're new to Xero Shoes, let me spend a couple minutes just to tell you what we're all about, why we have over 72,000 five-star reviews, why whenever half of the orders we get every month are from existing customers buying additional pairs of shoes. And the number of people who own like 5, 10, 15 pairs of shoes is crazy in a good way. And I mean, unlike any brand you've ever seen. And the gist is really simple. This is about optimal human functioning, not about footwear, really. So let me ask you a couple of weird questions just for the fun of it. Is restriction better than freedom? I'm guessing you're going to say no, and feel free if you wanted to say no in the chat, you can, but there's no need. And the answer is no, you're right. Restriction is not better than freedom. I don't have like a normal shoe here with me, unfortunately, but if you look at like most shoes, they have a pointy toe box, and that is not the shape of your foot. And if it is the shape of your foot, it ain't supposed to be. So that's a problem. And basically imagine, what squeezing your toes together all day, every day does to, well, your life. See what that does. Here's another weird question. Is weaker better than stronger? Of course not. So how do you make something weak? If you want to make your arm weak, what do? You put it in a cast. And 8 weeks later, it does not magically come out stronger. It comes out atrophied and weaker. Well, the same thing happens if your shoe is not flexible and let your bones and joints move. A quarter of the bones and joints of your whole body are in your feet and ankles. If you don't let them move, well, guess what? Use it or lose it. And not letting them move, that's losing it. We'll come back to that in a second. Let me think of another one. Is numbness better than feeling? No, I'm going to guess you're going to say no for that one too. Well, take a look at the shoe that most people were wearing, and you'll see it's got a big, thick foam midsole. Well, the question is, how much can you feel through that? And the answer is next to nothing. Now, it's important to be able to feel things because you have more nerve endings in the soles of your feet than anywhere but your fingertips and your lips. So your brain knows how to deal with what you're stepping on or stepping in by first controlling your feet, being able to move and bend and flex and move. So if you can't do that, then the loop doesn't work anyway, even if you can feel things. Let me think of another question. I can't think of a way of doing this properly. Is bad posture better than good posture? Of course not. Well, most shoes elevate your heel, and even a small elevation of your heel tips your body forward, and you need to adjust in your hips, your knees, your back, your ankles somewhere. And that adjustment could put strain on those joints. So in short, what we're trying to do at Xero Shoes and what we're actually doing at Xero Shoes is letting your feet do their job, not squeezing your toes together. So freedom, mobility, sensation, and proper alignment, letting your feet do their job so the rest of your body can do its job. So here's how we do it. I'm going to show this with our Prio Neo. So first we have a wider foot-shaped toe box, so your toes aren't getting squeezed together like that. Low to the ground for balance and agility. We don't elevate your heel because that'll mess with your posture. We don't have a thing called toe spring, which means the sole is like this and can't come down flat. That messes with your gait. Super, super flexible, so all those bones and joints can move the way they're supposed to. Of course, they don't do that. And many people go, ooh, that's perfect for travel. And it is, but frankly, that's even better, but that's okay. The soles are designed to give you traction and protection, of course, but also the ground feeling that your brain is looking for, so it knows how to move your body efficiently, effectively, and enjoyably. And our soles are backed with a 5,000-mile sole warranty. That just means we make them durable because we're trying to keep them out of landfills. The best thing we can do for the environment is make things that last longer. And by making our rubber, our field true rubber, that's part of how we're doing that. By the way, if you want more of a barefoot feeling, all of our shoes have a removable 2 to 3 millimeter insole or sock liner. Keep it in for a little, well, take it out if you want more barefoot feeling. Keep it in if you want a little bit more protection. And I'm not at the office, otherwise you would see behind me 55 different styles of casual and performance shoes, boots, and sandals that people of literally all ages, from 5 to 108, I think is the record. People wearing our products for everything you can think of, from professional athletics. We have professional basketball players wearing a basketball shoe we developed, to little kids, to everything in between, for everything you can imagine. Again, pro sports, Olympic sports. We have a number of Olympians who are going to be in our shoes in Paris, to just walking around, to hanging out with friends, to taking a hike, to playing pickleball, to working out, to what you do after yoga so you don't lose that connection you just felt to the ground. You name it. That's what we're here for. So once again, you can find out more if you go to xeroshoes.com or xeroshoes.eu if you're in the EU, or if you're in the UK, xeroshoes.co.uk. Okay. Cars B, do I have any little foot exercises I can do while sitting at my desk at work? A bunch, actually. I'm going to try and reply to your comment. Let's see if I can do this. If you go to, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember where this is. Well, the simple thing you can do is here, let me try it this way. I'm going to try doing that reply thing again. Reply. Do a YouTube search for BYU foot exercises. So there's a protocol that I have, but I can't find it right now. I can't remember the link, unfortunately, so my brain isn't working right now. But you'll find a number of foot exercises you can do while sitting at your desk, while doing the dishes, while walking around. There are a number of them. One called short foot. There's things you can do just by scrunching a towel, things you do just by trying to spread your toes and then squeeze them together, by trying to lift up your big toe with leaving the others on the ground, doing the opposite, etc. So there's lots of different things you can do, and you'll find those there. I have an ebook. It's currently called the Running Injury Reduction Plan, that gives you an exercise program that was actually used to prove that no matter what shoes you're running in, if you do an exercise program to strengthen your feet for 8 weeks first, your risk of injury is reduced by 250%. So this is a study done by Dr. Sacco in Brazil. Took a bunch of runners. Half of them got to do the exercise program. Half of them didn't. The ones who did, 250% lower injury rate over the course of the year-long study. Now, the interesting thing is that was the same exercise program that Dr. Sarah Ridge used to show that just walking in a minimalist shoe can build foot strength as much as doing an exercise program. So it's in that, but again, since Sarah was at BYU when she did that research, you can find it there. So I'm sorry, I don't have a way of uploading a file here, or I would point you, or wait, let me see if this works. I want to do a quick, the world's fastest Google search. Running injury, if I could type injury reduction. By the way, this is a horrible, horrible title for the ebook, which is why not a lot of people downloaded it. But, oh wow, how is it not showing? That's interesting. It's not even showing up in Google, which means that there's something wrong with that web page. So it's not even showing. Well, that's a problem. Anyway, we'll figure it out. So you can also drop an email to support@xeroshoes.com. Ask them to point you to the Running Injury Reduction Program ebook, and they'll give it to you there. Jared says, "How was your vacation?" So Lane and I, we started this company just shy of 15 years ago, have not had a vacation in that entire time, and decided to take one. There's a partial working vacation, I'll explain. But Lena also gets really bad jet lag. So she had the idea that we would take a boat. Well, technically, they call it a ship. We would do a transatlantic crossing on the Queen Mary 2. And I tend to get seasick, so I was a little anxious about this. But everyone assured me that even if the water's not great, the boat is going to do pretty good. So I decided to give it a whirl. And so we spent our first 8 nights traveling across the Atlantic, and it was delightful. Food was wonderful. The people that we were sitting with were wonderful. The lectures that I went to were wonderful. The music that was happening just randomly during the course of the day was wonderful. It was really, really quite special. And then I went to Dublin to work with our lead programmer. Lena went to Prague to work with our Prague office. And then we met in Vienna with some friends of Lena's. She was an exchange student in Germany. So her host sister and that woman's husband spent some time in Vienna, then went to Hungary, spent some time in a spa town, spent some time in Budapest, put it all together. Totally, totally delightful. Still answering emails and doing things along the way. But anyway, it's great. I highly recommend any and all of those places if you haven't been. So what else can I say? If you don't know, Amazon is having their Prime Days today and tomorrow, and we are doing something that we have never done before. We're participating. So there are, I think, 5 or 6 different shoes that are discounted on Amazon for Prime Day and at 20% off. So FYI, head over to Amazon, search for Xero Shoes, look at our store, and you'll find a video that's talking about what's available for Prime Day today. And then I'll do another video tomorrow because it's going to be some different products that are going to be available for Prime Day tomorrow. So don't forget to check that out. And if you're watching this on any day other than July 16th, then that whatever I just said about today and tomorrow is completely not true. So what else can I say? And, FYI, we don't typically do that simply, well, for a couple of reasons. One is it's expensive to actually sell things on Amazon. And 2, our shoes are affordable. With our 5,000 mile sole warranty, they're basically the net cost of owning them is less than even something that's a quarter to half the price. So anyway, but we decided to give it a whirl and see what happens. And so far, so good. From what I've heard, we've gotten more wonderful shoes on wonderful people's feet in today than we normally do in a month. So maybe I was wrong by not doing it before. It was a good idea, but anyway, so that's that. Carr says, no worries. Thank you. Again, my pleasure. That YouTube search will take you pretty far. And, I should have said the obvious thing. One of the you said what you can do when you're at work. I was going to say the thing that's so interesting about strengthening your feet, just walking either barefoot or in something like Xero Shoes, or running in barefoot or in Xero Shoes. That's going to be the thing that's going to be the biggest thing. But those little supplemental foot exercises are good. Not at the office. You can do something fun with like a big thick rubber band. Is put it around each of your big toes and let them stretch and then pull back, stretch and pull back. That's another good one. What else? Picking things up, like crumple up a paper ball, throw it on the ground, pick that up with your toes. If you have a golf ball, try golf ball. If you eventually get to a baseball, try baseball. That's a tricky one. Jared, do I have any word on the new leather boot for men? There will be a lot of words about that in a little less than a month. I can't give away. If I was at the office, I would give away the secret because I'm horrible at keeping secrets. Anyone who's been on these calls knows that, but I'm not at the office, so I can't give it away. But all I can say is a little less than a month. I think you'll be happy. The name you gave me says, hey, everyone, I'm going for a walk right now. Wait, you mean at this moment when you're actually watching this and walking, or you're going to say hi and then take a walk? Either way works for me. We had here in Colorado, it's been freakishly hot, but we had a big rainstorm about a couple hours ago. And happily now it's cool enough that when I'm done with this, I'll be able to walk the dog without worrying that he's going to burst into flames. So FYI, I only stick around here long enough for, the questions and comments you have. And if it's a beautiful summer evening for most of you, depending on where you are. So I don't want to keep you too long, but type in your questions and comments and I will respond to them and then we'll call it an evening. Are the Phoenix knit flats going to be restocked from SL? Yes, absolutely. And we have some really cool colors. I don't know when, but if you email support@xeroshoes.com, they might have the info about when those are coming back. I can't keep the information about what every product is doing in terms of stock issues in my head any longer. And I'm not even good at keeping it in a spreadsheet, frankly, but the customer happiness team will know. And so, yeah, check with them. Name you gave me. I'm walking right now. This is the magic of technology. We're having a conversation while you're watching a video while taking a walk. Wow. What else? Anybody else? Anything else? So, sometimes people ask me what I'm making for dinner. I'll tell you what I made for dinner last night because I made something, but then I'll tell you what I'm doing for dinner tonight because I didn't make it, just for the fun of it. So last night, creamy corn pasta with how do I want to add it? Creamy corn protein pasta. Yeah, that's a good one. So the pasta was chickpea pasta. And the creamy corn part was, and you can find this is a New York Times recipe, is taking like fresh corn or can of corn, almost doesn't really matter. Taking most of that, sauteing that with some scallions, tossed that into a blender with some basil and some salt and pepper. What I added was a cup of cottage cheese. If you don't like cottage cheese, don't worry, you will not taste the cottage cheese. Then take the pasta, actually take a little bit of corn that you didn't puree, throw that in the pan with a little bit of butter, and then then throw in the pureed corn and basil and whatever else, and come on, I can do it. Cottage cheese, blend that, put the noodles in, coat to toss to coat. There we go. And then throw on some Parmesan, some basil, some parsley, whatever you think is right. And it is creamy, delicious. It's gourmet mac and cheese. It's super high tech mac and cheese. Awesome. What I'm doing tonight, if you haven't seen, if you're a Costco shopper, or if you know the Korean version of some Japanese things, Koreans have a thing called kimbap, which is like a Japanese nori roll with certain things in it. So they have at Costco, you can get a vegetarian kimbap. Trader Joe's has the same thing. So we're doing a taste test tonight to see which one we like better. So there's that. All right. That was a random whatever. And have we thought about using stitched soles? That was from Jared. We thought about a lot of things. People have the idea that stitched soles are somehow better than glued soles, but that's actually ironic because most of the time they're glued and then stitched, and the stitching is kind of cosmetic. So if it's a style that makes sense, it's something that we're looking at for just manufacturing processes. It's got to be the right product. We actually did one a while ago, but we discontinued that product. So I'm not sure if there's something in particular you're looking at or looking for or want, then go to xeroshoes.com/feedback, let us know. And ideally point us to, give us some links to point to what you're talking about. And that's how our product team knows what to do next. Tadeo says, hey folks, hey, right back at you. Name you gave me says, my recipe sounds delicious. It is. Today says, in this changeable European summer, I'm still loving my Denver leathers. You'll be happy to know for next European summer and American summer as well, we're going to have a version of the Denver that will be a more friendly to warmer weather, because that's been a request as well. So we're doing that. All right. What else? I'm trying to think of anything else that I have got going on or what we have going on. We got a bunch of big meetings coming up soon about the products that we're going to be releasing in fall of 25 and spring of 26. That's how far ahead that we plan, and all shoe companies plan for things that we're doing. A lot of very exciting things coming up. And unfortunately, I can't talk about them because they're super, super, super secret. If you don't know, we developed a basketball shoe that Justin Holiday from the Denver Nuggets and Tammy Fig-Bentley from the Indiana Fever wore on the court. Justin wore his during the playoffs. Tammy's still wearing hers. And we're super excited about that. There's going to be a bunch of news coming out about that in the not too distant future. Name you gave me, steel toe, big thing that we're working on, not necessarily steel, but composite possibly. Big project conversations are going on about that. Again, this is the number one request we get. It's very challenging to make something that's protective, gives you natural feel and movement, and the functionality you need at the same time. So, for example, I can take the Prio Neo and I can do this. But if you want a really good work shoe, it probably needs a shank right there to at the very least, handle things like shovels and ladders. So how do you make something that's flexible enough to let your foot do what it's meant to do, but still give you, again, the functionality and protection that you need out of a shoe like that? Abraham, is there any news on vegan leather coming up that's good for boots and shoes? You said any news. So the any news is not really. The problem with the vegan leathers is simply that they're either really plasticky or they don't last as long, or they're not flexible enough. Or, there are a lot of people working this problem, and some of the products that are actually interesting, they're just not making enough of them yet to make it affordable. So you could make something, but it'd be a $300 product, and that's not the kind of company that we are, at least. And I haven't even seen that in the companies that are that. So we're constantly looking for new materials, and that one has just not cracked the code yet. Toys Field. Do we find the customers need time to adjust and develop muscles before they're able to enjoy a barefoot style shoe? I'm interested, but not sure how my feet will fare during the transition. Great question. Well, it depends on what you're doing. If you're just standing or walking, depends on what you've also been doing, how much time you maybe spend without shoes now, or if you play any sports, or if you're a runner. So there's a lot of questions. So there's not a simple answer for everybody, but the gist is what we've seen is if you're just standing or walking, the transition is relatively quick, actually, because you're not really stressing things too much. And you just want to think about it like if you haven't been to the gym for a while, you don't go back to the gym and do the same workout you did 6 months ago. You do an embarrassingly small amount of weight for an embarrassingly small amount of reps and sets, and then you just listen to your body and you build up. Same thing if you're standing or walking. So, give it an hour if you're standing, give it 20 minutes if you're walking, see how you feel the next day. It's really, it's really about relaxing in proper form, even more than it is about building up strength. And I'll say more about that in a second. So for running, running, it's really the form is the thing that's going to tell you what's going on. Most people, Jay DeSherry, who's a research physical therapist, says that it takes 8 to 12 weeks for most of the tissue changes to occur for most people. And by that time, your feet and ankles should be really fine. Again, it's a personal thing, so I can't promise that number. But the gist is the more you just kind of, ease into it, the better it's going to be. The joke is, of course, if you do too much too soon, it can happen because there's no way to know if you did too much too soon until you do too much too soon. Let me give you a story about that before I address your next question. So when I was in Budapest last week, it's a weird sounding phrase, I've been working with this personal trainer via Zoom, and we do these insane workouts. And I had my leg day. So we were staying at the highest point in Budapest, and I walked down 500 steps to get to the gym. And then I did this crazy ass leg workout, and then I had to walk back up 500 steps. And then we did some tourist things where I had to walk up and down another couple hundred steps. And at 3 a.m, when I got up to go to the bathroom, I could not sit down on the toilet. My legs would not bend. And that was too much too soon. And I did not get it. It took a week for that to wear off. So what else can I say? Again, this is about relaxing and natural movement more than it is about strength. The strength thing will happen. But the key thing when it comes to the natural movement part is you want to do the best you can, especially if you're running, but even if you're walking, of landing with your foot underneath your body as much as possible. Don't reach your foot out way in front of you and land on your heel. Get it underneath you. And then for walking, you're pushing your foot back to move you forward. It's a weird thing to say. I wonder if, here we go. I'm posting a couple of links to things about calf pain or calf soreness, which is basically, I think this is it. It's a good one. Here are a couple of them. Anyway, here are a couple of links. Take a look at those. Basically, there's some information about, people say calf and Achilles soreness is required. It's not, especially if you just take your time. And if you get your feet underneath you instead of reaching out and pushing and pulling. All right, so there's that. Tanya says, one day I hope to get the Denver leathers resold. There's some interesting cobblers who even resole Vans. Oh, cool. Let us know how that goes. Abraham, thanks. You guys rule. Thank you. Name you gave me. I want to hike 16 miles. How should I prepare? By doing less than 16 miles for a while till you build up slowly and get to the point of doing 16 miles. It's not like doing a ultra marathon. I was at a talk by one of the top ultra marathoners. This is at least 12 years ago. A guy named Tony Kropitschka. And somebody said to Tony, I've run a number of 50-mile races, but I've never run a 100-mile race. What do I need to do to train for that? And Tony said, nothing. You already know how to run. Now it's just going to be mental and figuring out when you need to walk down a hill instead of run down a hill, or walk up a hill instead of run down a hill. But it's not about training. It's just about, getting through it. But 16 miles is nothing like that. You just want to build up to the point where one day you feel like, yeah, that seems reasonable. And maybe take a trail that isn't going to beat you up. Take one you're familiar with, or take one that's maybe even a little less aggressive than what you've done before. That's one way that I would do it. So that said, all right, anybody else, anything else? Again, it's a beautiful evening. I want to give it back to you if we don't have any comments or questions that are coming in now. And again, just a reminder, go to Amazon today on the 16th or tomorrow on the 17th for Prime Day. We have some Prime Day specials like we've never done before, 20% off some of our best sellers on Amazon. And otherwise, go to xeroshoes.com, or if you're in the EU, xeroshoes.eu, or if you're in the UK, xeroshoes.co.uk. And if you've been to Dublin, chime in if you jumped in the water at the 40-foot, which I did, and it was cold, delightful and cold. What else? If you have any questions about an order, about a product, or just recommendations, whatever it is you need, go to support or email support@xeroshoes.com. Our customer happiness team is happy to help, or give them a call. Contact information is on the website. And if you have any feedback, advice, requests, suggestions, go to xeroshoes.com/feedback to put them there. That's how our product team knows what to do. Amazon US. Yes, that's correct. And Jared, the name you gave me, is there an ideal stack height in your mind for a perfect shoe? That's an interesting question. We have people who have through hiked every major trail in the world, who have run every long distance ultra marathon ever done in our DIY kits, in our 4mm sandals, or it's about 10mm in our Z Trail sandals, or even in our Speed Force, which is a 4.5mm sole, or the Prio. So the stack height, and by the way, stack height is a fake out, because you can have something that's really thin but really stiff. You can have something really thick but really squishy. So the idea, and even worse, there is no industry accepted method for reporting stack height. Some people literally just report the thickness of the outsole. Some people do the thickness of the outsole and any midsole, but they won't include the material that it takes to actually attach the outsole to the upper. Some people do or don't include the removable, if it is removable, sock liner. So we're building out new pages to show you all of those numbers, so you see something real instead of people making shit up. So FYI, but stack height is, again, a highly misunderstood, not saying that you misunderstand it, Jared, a highly misunderstood concept. People look at a number and they think something either smaller or bigger is better or worse without really knowing what's going on. So do it that way you will. Will there be new products in the fall? Peter asked. The answer is yes. We'll be announcing those in about 3.5 weeks. So yeah. And yes, I was in Dublin. Today says, sending you a delayed wave from down the road. Oh man, if I had only known. Actually, I spent my whole time with our lead website developer, whom I hadn't met, even though we've been working together for 12 years. So we did some great hikes, had some great food. There's a restaurant down in Temple Bar, something Soul, or just maybe it's maybe the only word is Soul, SOLE. And it's mostly fish and seafood. Oh my God, one of the best meals I ever had. Do with that what you will. Name you gave me, I have the Scrambler Low. Killer, awesome hiking shoe. And we have people who just wear that around all day, every day for, whatever else they want to do. So yeah, Peter, we got a bunch of cool fall products that I'm very excited to show off coming up in just a few weeks. All right. So I'm going to, kind of wrap it up a little bit. And so if there's any last minute things, we'll get them after kind of in the intermission in my wrap up. So the wrap up again is pretty simple. We're here to help you live life feet first. We're here to help you enjoy the fun and benefits, the comfort, the performance, and the health benefits of natural movement by letting your feet do what they're made to do, so your body can do what it's made to do. There's more and more research coming out about the benefits of being barefoot. More and more athletes realizing foot strength is critical to their continued participation in the sport. We had a football player, an NFL player, say that we gave him extra years in his career because he had a bunch of knee and back pain. I'm not allowed to say this. He had a bunch of knee and back issues. Let's say that. Sorry about that. He had a bunch of knee and back issues. In fact, that's actually, now he said it. And found out about our shoes and said, from wearing your shoes, I feel better than I ever have. And I got 3 more seasons in my career. Waiting to see how many more he's got. Name you gave you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for those of you watching on YouTube, or if not, just go check out Xero Shoes at YouTube. Also, I always forget to do this. Go to chat, enjoy I have a joke about this. Everybody's got a podcast these days. It's getting really, really silly that everyone's got a podcast. And if you want to hear more about that, go to my podcast. It is called The Movement. And what I'm putting it in here, join the movement, or you can just search for The Movement wherever you get your podcasts and take a gander there. I've done a few hundred episodes with, like the leading thinkers about natural movement. And I know you'll enjoy it. Jared, do you think you'll need lots of toe box space or just enough? Some people think Xero Shoes don't have big enough toe box space. So there are some, where to begin on that? There are some people who have crazy, crazy wide feet, and there's some people who have crazy narrow feet. So foot width is on a spectrum, and we're covering the majority of that spectrum. If we go too wide, things first of all start to look clownish and don't fit the people who have narrower feet, and vice versa. More, almost all of our products break in over time. I've had people say, "Hey, I got the Prio and you made it narrower." It's like, no, no, no. They show me the shoe they've been wearing for 2 years and it got wider because they've been wearing it versus the one that's exactly like the day they got the first one. So, and width is a weird thing because it's not about two-dimensional width. Measuring your foot, why the width of your foot is meaningless. It's about volume. What's the shape of your foot and how the volume of that, and how does that match the inside volume of the shoe? Some shoes inherently have more or less volume than others. If you have something that has a tongue, like the Prio Neo here, you can make it wider in certain places, in most places. If you have a shoe that is a what's referred to as a dead fit, then or is made of different materials, or has a sock construction or a booty construction, that one's not going to have the same kind of variability. So suffice it to say, the answer is you need as much toe box space as you need for whatever matches your foot. We have, I mean, I'm not trying to throw anyone on the bus, but it's going to sound like that. We have had some people say, "Hey, your shoes don't fit my feet." And I say, "Can you send me a picture of your feet next to the shoes?" And they have feet that are like, square. And I go, "We just can't help you." So there are, admittedly, some natural movement companies, some barefoot shoe companies who are making exceptionally wide shoes, and more power to them. We can't do that yet because we have, I mean, first of all, we have 55 different styles. If we tried to do that for every style, we would have to double our warehouse space and double our inventory. So, and it's tricky. You know what it is? Also, for the people who have extremely wide feet, it's kind of like when I get a call from someone saying, "I'm a size 17. Can you make a shoe for me?" And I go, "No, because there's like 7 of you." I can tell you that our number one size is like a 10 and a half. And once you get to the 14s and the 15s, we sell so few of those. So the outliers are really tricky. I would love nothing more than to make something that works for everybody. And where we are as our business, we can't do that right now. Getting there. Jared, I agree about breaking in shoes. If anyone's lazy out there, you can stuff socks in your shoes and they'll stretch out a bit and keep that shape for the most part. That's a good idea too. My dad used to have these shoe horns, wooden shoe horns, where you could screw them and the toe part would go broop, but they were still pointy, but at least it would, get around the ball of your foot. Martin says, just want to say the TerraFlex 2 and Mesa Trail WP work great for golf. I know. And so does the Aqua X Sport, which has the same sole as the Mesa Trail. If you are okay with your feet kind of getting moist, or if the course is dry, etc. But we have someone on our customer happiness team who's trying out for the tour, and all he plays in is the Mesa Trail waterproof. So it's funny. We have a number of professional golfers who love what we're doing, and each one swears by a different shoe. Rocco Mediate trains in our Genesis sandal. A couple other players, some like the TerraFlex, some like the Prio, some like the Hana, which has a similar sole to the Prio, actually. It's one of those personal preference things that I find really interesting. Name you gave me, LOL, what if your favorite basketball team asked for some basketball shoes? We already have them. We made them. So, but we haven't made them for the guys who are like 17, 18, 19 yet. We're mostly dealing with the guys who are size, you'd be surprised to hear this, a lot of basketball guys who are size 10, 11, 12. So we're making stuff for players who are in like mostly the 12 to 15 range now. And then we'll be expanding from there. But that's a real special project, obviously, where we can do that. But that's, again, more about length than even volume or width. We have Justin Holiday, one of our players, very big foot, very narrow foot. He's a very skinny, narrow guy, as his feet are as well. So, we had to make something thinner for him, but still with a foot-shaped toe box. Adley, any pointers on running form? Can you run races in Xero sandals? We've only had tens of thousands of people do that, so yes. And for running form, the pointers are the same, whether it's sandals or anything else. The best thing to do, go to our website, xeroshoes.com. In the top, you'll see a menu item says Learn More, and there's some stuff about running in there. Take a gander at that. That'll give you the idea. But the gist is simple. You want your feet to be landing underneath you so you're not overstriding and heel striking, because every researcher that I know who researches the cause and cure of running injuries is now agreeing, number one cause of running injuries, overstriding and heel striking. How do you know if you're not overstriding? If your ankle bone is landing behind, here's the forward. If your ankle bone, wait, let's see if I can do this. Yeah, I can't do it. Wait, there we go. If here's your knee and here's your ankle bone, I know your knee is your bottom of your leg is not does not bend like that, but I can't make that straight. If your ankle bone is behind your knee, then you're doing the right thing, or like in line with her or behind it. The other thing you can do for other tips, take a look. There are a number of wonderful natural running form coaches. I'm doing horrible things with names right now. Jay Grunke. This is going to be embarrassing for the people I don't mention. I'm losing names out of my head. The people who teach chi running or pose method running. Come on. Petra Fisher. I know there's like, I can list a whole bunch more, but they're not coming into my head because names don't come into my head as quickly as they used to. But again, if you go to xeroshoes.com, learn more section, there's some info on running there that I think will be helpful. All right. Sounds like we've reached a good stopping point. Once again, thank you all for being here. This is one of my favorite things to do every month. Sorry I missed last month, but let everyone know it's going to happen. Is this the second or third Tuesday of the month? What is it? So the 16th is today. Before that was 7 days before. So that was the, whatever that is, the 9th. Before that was the 2nd. So these are third. All right. So we do this on the third Tuesday of every month. And so, if you're not getting our newsletter already, then go to xeroshoes.com/newsletter to sign up. So you'll hear about this. You'll hear about upcoming sales and product launches and much, much, much more. Something came in. Jared, I kick ass in pickleball and nothing but a Xero Prio. Hopefully one day you'll have a dedicated court shoe. We already have 2. So nothing dedicated because everyone's got an opinion. So what I can tell you is people are playing pickleball in the Speed Force, in the 360, in the Kelso, in the Prio, in the, what else? There's another one that I'm forgetting. In the Prio Neo. What else? There's like one more that the Forza Trainer. So people are playing in pickleball in 7 different shoes. So a dedicated court shoe, some people will buy it and other people will still buy the 6 other things that are not dedicated to anything. There's not one product that we make that people don't use for 10 different things that we never thought of. So just kind of the way of it. Jack, are you guys totally done with making the Aptos and replacing it with Dylan slip-on? I don't know the answer to that, to be honest. I don't know. Check with the customer happiness team. They'll know the answer to that better than I would. Okay. As I was saying when I was wrapping this one up, thank you. Total pleasure to be doing this. More importantly, thank you for all the support for those of you who are Xero Shoes customers. Thank you for all the support you've given us over the years. When Lena and I started this almost 15 years ago, we never imagined we would have now helped almost 2 million people discover the fun and benefits and comfort and performance benefits of natural movement with Xero Shoes. It is an absolute delight. We have so much going on that we're really excited about to be helping more and more people, from elderly people who have certain medical issues going on, to people who just want different performance products for different sports and different activities they're in, to things for just casual wear that they just need something that looks good with this outfit or that outfit. There's a lot happening and we really can't wait to share it with you, but can't do it all at once. And sometimes I got to keep a bit of a secret. So thank you again. Come back, share this with your friends. If you're new to Xero Shoes, again, really appreciate it. We can't wait to hear what happens when you slip on a pair. And like the people who are not new to Xero Shoes and you go out and you have fun,